a good platform and a good company known as ICRA. So the organization itself is very committed to addressing this gender imbalance with women, and it gives cyber initiatives that support a lot of women who want to venture into the cyber security space. Interestingly, they have also gone a step higher to getting into collaborations with various supporting organizations and more so trying to even develop and execute various activities that promote diversity in the cybersecurity industry. How is this like in Uganda? And generally, how can organizations even begin to bridge this gap?
Okay. Well, organizations, first of all, it's important that when organizations are putting up adverts for jobs, it's important that the language they use is sensitive to both genders. Sometimes they put up languages that may deter women from participating in some of these. For example, they can say you must be willing to work extra hours and things like that. Yet, as a woman, you'll find that you have other responsibilities to take care of, and they also must be balanced with this kind of workplace that you have. In Uganda, we have a number of organizations that are doing this. One, we have Milima here, we have She Leads Take. We also have efforts that have been made by the government through agencies like NITA to make sure that we have more affordable internet compared to what we used to have, so that women are able to access this kind of information on the internet. We also have other companies that are in place that do that. There's Girls for Girls, there's UN Women. There's quite a lot that is happening in the space of women in cybersecurity. But I also feel that the government and the related agencies need to communicate this information so that the women and the ladies can be able to see it and participate in some of these things. They should communicate it through media that is easily accessible and easily read by all. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Samara, for that. Cynthia, if you're in the participation group, would you want to give us your insight with regards to the topic at hand and probably just share your experience with us? Cynthia? Cynthia, if you're not ready, Lydia Kitakufe, if you're ready, you can take up the panelist role. All right. Probably as we wait for them to set up their mics. You know, we've seen a lot of talent gap, and it's not just with relation to gender. And this does not necessarily just tie down to cybersecurity organizations. I mean, most industries these days rely on technology to function and have needs in terms of cybersecurity. Actually, in my own understanding, I tend to think having more women in cybersecurity would help boost the industry and probably even feel the drastic need that companies have, you know, when they want to top this talent. Perhaps, Maurice, you could probably chime in your thoughts on this. Are there any initiatives that Milima Academy is bringing out or is trying to establish with this?
Thank you very much, Lisa. Over the last 3 cohorts, we've had opportunities of having over 35% of the students being ladies. When you talk about initiatives, the first focusing was having this conversation. The most important thing, as much as we push for the opportunities, but now the most key thing is recognizing that there's a problem. One. The second thing would be starting off the conversation. Right now, at the moment, we are working on a partnership of creating opportunities for placements for our students as we continue to drive for the numbers. Opportunities for the women in tech space, we've always actually been very, I'm sure, actually on this forum, we equally have about 6 alumni and 2 current students. That's Lydia, and then we equally have this Femias as well. When you took initiatives, the most important thing has been discussions. But now we are working on a mentorship program that will create opportunities to have ladies prioritizing admission to the academy. The other bit was reaching out to already existing platforms that create opportunities to mentor and train the women. For example, She Leads Tech is one of the forums that we've been able to engage to open the discussion and create more opportunities for the women to go in the cybersecurity space. I should agree, there's not been so much that has actually equally been done, but the problem has been identified, and the discussion is how are we able to create an opportunity for the women to thrive in the cybersecurity space. And then I think the other focusing has always been about the mentorship and equally a mindset change. I appreciate that, like you shared earlier, Samari shared earlier, the commitment to the tech space has actually been quite minimal. If you look at, for example, submission for applications, you look at the number of applications, and then besides the idea of affirmative action, which not many buy into, because opportunities are created, we equally continue to drive to prioritize mentorship. And we also, like as the academy, we've decided to keep our staff at 50% staff membership to create opportunities for women to thrive in this space. Lisa?
Thank you, Maurice, for that. And it's quite interesting to see that Milima Academy also has some of its participants within the session. I also want to assume that, as you've developed some of these unique and interesting opportunities for women in the cyberspace, perhaps you can also shed some light on some of the necessary qualifications or probably even the application process that is involved if anyone wanted to be a part of Milima Cyber Academy. And is this just limited to people in Uganda, or does this mean that there are also collaborations in Kenya?
Yes.
Take us through that process.
Good question, Lisa. Like I shared earlier, previously our operations have been mainly on site because one of our key drivers is actually creating a platform where we give as much attention to the student and participant as possible, meaning there's a lot of dedication to on-site trainings. Now with the new wave, of course, with Milima's business continuity plan, we've now pushed the trainings to online. The moment, like I shared with you, there's actually students here on this forum that are actually on the online platform. Now, the most interesting bit about the new wave, we've equally now presented opportunities that are quite favorable for the participants. We previously we already had our typical Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday sessions that they 6 to 9, and then we now created a new wave where we have equally day sessions, that's 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And then now we created an opportunity for evening sessions, meaning the question of flexibility for that sort of like cuts across gender. And then now when it comes to equally processing applications, we've been very focused on and creating spaces and actually encouraging the women to be a part of the program. At the moment, like I shared earlier, we are running the June cohort that is going to run up to August. However, with opportunities that have been presented with the online platforms, we're able to equally execute different programs at the same time. We are opening another cohort on the 27th of this month. That's for the courses of fundamentals of cybersecurity, web application security. And it's usually we've actually tried to engage on our different social media platforms to engage the participants. And then with every post call to action, we're able to follow up with the conversation to encourage this particular interested person to appreciate what they're getting into. Because one of the key questions usually asked at the start, why are you interested? So that we're able to identify what is your driving factor. Because commitment to training programs like this ought to be reevaluated just beyond being part of the program, by actually understanding what are expectations. So just back to the question, how do we apply? We equally have, we usually have a link that is on our website for applications, for opportunities for one to apply. Then from the application process, we're able to share with the details about the entire program and have a chat with you on what are your favorable flexible times. The other bit has also been zeroed down on even payment plans. We've actually looked at a level where we've sat down with participants and agreed on a payment plan that we make it rather affordable, rather convenient for the participants. Now, like I shared with you earlier about the ladies, we've been very, I'm sure some of them actually and from are wondering, we've been able to push hard to create opportunities for them to be part of the program. So, like most focus thing I should share is that we're opening a new cohort on 27th of July, and I will be able to share with the participants an email after this session about what other opportunities are there for this cohort. Thank you, Lisa.
Great, thank you very much, Maurice. Lydia, just to get back to you, perhaps you could tell us a bit more about your experience, especially since you have been in the IT cyberspace. How has it been for you? What has been your experience? And probably you can also tell us what have you experienced in terms of challenges within that particular space? Okay, sorry people, I think we lost Lydia. Great. So going back to you, Samari, I think it's quite interesting, you know, when we talk about the opportunities that Milima Cyber Academy has established and is trying to create within Uganda and out of Uganda. Even just looking back to how us as Kenyans are trying to establish this, particularly like in our company, Yale Bridges. I mean, we've participated in various collaborations. For example, we'd host a security-focused hackathon specifically for women that would ideally emphasize hands-on security skills, teamwork, and applications even to real-life world cybersecurity challenges. And this has been a very interesting opportunity for us. what would you say has been the most interesting learning for you as Samari, and probably even as you trickle down to the staff within your organization, especially women in the cyberspace? What would you say is the most interesting aspect in terms of learning from Milima Academy? Samari? Yes, Samari.
Thank you so much. I hope I can be heard right now.
Yes.
Well, on my side, my learning has been really most of the time it has been self-driven. Definitely, I have had an opportunity to interact with many of the industry, the people practicing in the industry that have helped me walk this journey. They have held my hand. I have ensured that I get mentors, people to walk the journey with me, people that I can ask when I am stuck, people that can direct me to the resources that I need to accomplish a task, people that I can meet and talk to, like and Milima, I can talk to, and they would guide me on my career path and forecasting what is coming, who I am, what my personality is, where I want to go. And with that kind of information, we are able to draw a strategy on what steps I could take and I should take to get to where I want to be. But again, like I said, the key is awareness. The key is awareness and self-initiative, because even if Milima is here with us today and they talk about it, and but if we as individuals, as ladies, we don't take the initiative to get to know what Milima is saying, because they can put out an advert, they can put out an announcement, but if I still don't pick the interest in it to find out exactly what are they saying, let me go to the website, read about what they do, where they're located, call them up, find out what they're doing, how they do it, how long it takes, what is in it for me. Still, as women, we may not be able to beat this gap that we are facing. So back to your question, on my side, in terms of learning, it has been one, be aware of what is going on, know what is happening in the industry, subscribe to all forms, to the forums that I feel stick to my career path, and actively subscribe to them. I mean, get to read the articles that they publish, get to know the top 10 cybersecurity risks that are published every now and then. And if my skills are sharpened enough in those areas, should my company suffer similar things. We have also been privileged as a person to work with companies that encourage training, and have been able to participate in some of these trainings. So what I'm trying to say here is, even when we may think that there are no opportunities to get this education and training, right now we are in an era where we have a lot of information out there. There are so many free tools. For example, how to do a vulnerability assessment and the penetration test. These are things I had to learn. All these tools are free. Kali Linux is free. The VirtualBox is free. They are free tools for us to learn. And they are also very affordable service providers like Milima that speak our language, that you can sit together with, and they take you through whatever it is that is the area of cybersecurity that you are interested in, and they cover majorly all of them, my interactions with them. So that's. I hope I have answered your question. If I haven't, please clarify so that I can give you the correct answer, Lisa.
Yes, you have, Samari. And even as we just uh, get some of this same feedback, I'd want that the other person, Cynthia, just to shed some light on your learnings and probably even your experience in terms of the cybersecurity space and how that has been for you.
Sorry. Thank you, Lisa. Can you hear me now?
Yes, 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 we can.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa and Samari. This is a very interesting talk. My name is Cynthia Chotunjire, and I'm the technology lead at Zimba Women. Personally, for me, I'm more into web application development, but I've always been very interested in the field of cybersecurity. So this is something I was looking forward to learning and understanding how to get into this field. But what has really built me up in the field of technology generally is being open-minded and being self-driven. And this is something Samari has uh, said some detail about being self-driven in the sense that you push yourself more to learn. And because the internet is our friend, the internet has all these learning opportunities and all these platforms where they are willing to teach you from a beginner level to really to become an expert in a particular field. And being self-driven is something that we as women need to take up on and push ourselves to learn, because we are in the 4IR and there's cybersecurity, there's AI, and all these things are really amazing. So it's something that we need to look out for and be interested in learning. And what we do also, what is very interesting is the aspect of mentorship. Mentorship is something that has really built me in this field, because earlier on, as I graduated last year, at the beginning, I had no idea where to go next, but I was very blessed to have mentors in the tech field, and these are actually women who have built their portfolios and who understand where you can go from any step you're at. And this has really built me, because we were able to work on this journey. They were able to help me know about all these opportunities. So it's very exciting if there are organizations that are out there, or if there are people that women mostly who are sitting at the table already, to be able to create these same spaces for other women who are interested in joining fields like cybersecurity, to create spaces for them to have all these kinds of conversations, to mentor them, because it's very important for someone who is new in all this to understand where to go. So mentorship is something we also do at Zimba Women, encouraging women to mentor fellow women, mostly in the field of technology, and exposing them to all these tools, like women in the field of cybersecurity, development, and all these other aspects of technology, because it's broad. So mentorship is really key, and being self-driven, like Samari has said, is something that we should think about, because the opportunities are out there for all of us, and they're not limited to a particular gender. They are there for all of us. We just have to be willing to take that step to go for them. Yes, thank you.
Just before I drop this, just before I ask the next question, probably you might want to also tell us, are there any interesting activities that your organization does in terms of promoting diversity in the cybersecurity industry, and not just in the cybersecurity industry, even in the technology space?
What we do is we have online training programs where we train women, mostly to in different technology aspects, in like development. And for the field of cybersecurity, we haven't yet started that, but it's something we are going to look at in the future. So we train these women. We have like, let me talk about in the sense of cohorts. We train them, we expose them to all these training material in the field of technology. So they're able to learn, and after this, they are linked to mentors or different fields organizations out there so that they have somewhere to start from. So these programs usually happen once a year. Yes. So currently we are doing that, but it's like an ongoing process. We keep on putting all these calls out there on our different platforms to enable people who have no idea about it to be able to know. And that's what we are going back to, being able to expose yourself to all these platforms that are sharing knowledge about all these opportunities. Because once you do that, that's when you'll be able to know about all these things and you'll be able to take part in them. Yes.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
that.
Lisa. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for that, Cynthia. It's interesting to see that even as we talk about this unique topic, one of you goes to the chat section to say, hello everyone, my name is Mohammed. I'm a retractor and a tech entrepreneur based in Ginger. One of my many passions, I'm also passionate about female inclusion of women in tech, and I'm working on an app called the Smart Girl app. Mohammed, if you're here, would you want to tell us why you thought it would be necessary to come up with the app and specifically to talk about women in technology and just bring about the inclusion of women in this kind of field? Mohammed? Okay. Whoever has any questions with regards to Smart Girl app, please also try and reach out to Mohammed. I think he left his contacts, and we can engage in from that point. Great. So coming back to you, Samari, you talked about your growth curve in terms of how you started off to where you are at now. Probably you can just tell us a little bit about how the experience in terms of how the experience has been for you, like what are the key pieces of advice to young and existing women that want to either venture into that space or are already in that kind of field? Samari?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, that is wonderful. So my advice to the ladies who are interested in pursuing this journey and can apply to any other journey, really. Number one is that as women, we must understand our worth. So understand your worth. You are so much more than you realize you are. Because you went to the same class, um, you all studied programming, you all got a first class degree, you all did your assignments, nobody did it for you and nobody did it for the man. So why must you not apply for that job? Why must you get on that panel and, feel like you're not qualifying, you're not good enough? Brush up on some of your skills. I've had the opportunity to look at some CVs, and to be sincere, I must admit that there's a lot of work to be done in this area. The way our young ladies are writing their CVs, they're writing their cover letters, it speaks volumes to the kind of person that you would want to bring to your team. So some of these things may end up not getting you shortlisted. You can read a CV and tell that somebody didn't put time, did not invest time to write their CV. So if you don't invest time to write your CV, why should I invest my time to bring you to a panel? I definitely will not. Also brush up on presentation skills. Most times you meet some of these young girls and then you're talking to them and the presentation skills, there's still a lot of work to be done. There's still a lot of room for improvement to be desired. This is an area that we need to work on as young girls. Work on your soft skills, how to present, how to speak to people even in authority. You not talk to them like your peers, which is I think a cultural diversion that is going on. But that's when you must realize that at the end of the day, the system balances out. So if you get yourself wrapped up, the better for you. Do a personal SWOT analysis. SWOT in full is find out your strength, your weaknesses, the opportunities that you can take on, and threats that may be threats. These are things that may be that may hinder your progress in achieving some of these opportunities. So sit yourself down, because at the end of the day, it is your success, it is your career, it is your life, it's your journey. So come to interaction with the person of you. Get to know, say, I'm Samari, what are my strengths? This is an area where I'm strong. Even ask your colleagues, what do you think I'm strong at? You know, they will tell you. Ask them, what do you think my weakness is? They will let you know what your weakness is. And use those things, look at the opportunities around you and see if some of your weaknesses may be threats to opportunities that you have. Take up opportunities that rhyme with your potential and advocate for yourself. You know what I have been saying. Don't fear to take up any opportunity that comes up. For me, as long as something says minimum requirement, I apply for it. Even if they say French is, I don't know, German, Italian is an added advantage. I don't look at all that. I focus on the minimum requirement. As long as I know the minimum requirement, I know that I'll get in there. Some of this field may require you to have good problem solving abilities. Work on these areas, read about it, engage in reading, be open-minded, open yourself to experience, join a networking movement. We have Milima, we have She Leads Tech, we have the lady who has just spoken, who is from Zimba Women. There's quite a lot going on. Find a society that you can get involved with in order to grow and hone your skills. You know, find a mentor, someone that can walk the journey with you. But again, when you also find a mentor, it's important that you don't demotivate your mentor. I have had an opportunity to lead a mentorship movement, and some of the feedback I get from mentors is that the mentees don't have drive. They don't have self-drive. So you find it's the mentor looking for the mentee, it's the mentor checking on you, and these mentors, they are really busy. They have quite a lot on them. So once they pick that your vibe is not in for it, definitely they'll concentrate on the more pressing needs that they have, other than volunteering to help you. Remember, they are volunteering to help you get to where you want to go. Read. I've already talked about reading. I cannot emphasize this less. Read. If you cannot good at reading hard copies, find an audio. Subscribe to apps. I subscribe to an app called Google Podcast, and it has quite a number of topics there, from economics to life skills to IT. And there is a particular one that I listen to. It's called Darknet Diaries, and they always run series on how they beat security. Your jaw drops when you're listening to how a guy entered a prison and they let him in, and he passed by the gate, he passed by the next security, he passed, and people let him in. He reaches there, he plants a camera, he even connects a USB to their server, he comes out. You'd be amazed at how the most tech survey companies are breached. Of course, this person is paid. So why I'm saying this is get to know what is going on around the industry, around the sector, be involved in what's going on, subscribe to the different channels and media. Prepare for the roles that you apply for. If you see yourself being in a certain place at a certain time, prepare for it, invest in it, you know. Go to Milima, study a course, be mentored. There are free courses online that you can also get involved in. Also volunteer, serve your profession, volunteer, find roles, things to do in different bodies and organizations. Harness some of your skills, brush up on your listening skills, problem solving skills, ability to explain complicated ideas clearly, because sometimes, actually not sometimes, all the time, we are in a profession that is very techy. And most of the times when we are talking to our superiors, they don't understand what we are saying. So it is important that as you're talking about your configurations, your Linux jargon and your databases and your whatever it is, your language, break it down in an understandable language for your audience, the people that you're going to be talking to. Thank you so much. That's Lisa. Thank you. Back to you.
Wow, I can't begin to appreciate the kind of information and the kind of advice that you've shared to most of us that would really want to get into this kind of profession. I also think that even for organizations like Milima and Yale Bridges, together with any organization that's logged in, it's also important for us to create professional development programs in terms of cybersecurity that will ultimately allow these particular individuals to rotate through different areas of the company that deals with security. And I mean, this can help them determine whatever areas that they are most interested in and probably even might find themselves fit in the long term. So I think just for us to sit and see how do we provide these opportunities for lateral growth, I think is very important. Um, in addition to that, I also think that a lot of collaborations and a lot of partnerships will really work in handy, especially in terms of us trying to create these opportunities and to be able to mentor these people that want to venture into this kind of space. Famous, probably you can tell us as you're getting yourself more acquainted into the cybersecurity space, what particularly would you say has been your, and perhaps you can also tell us, even as you are learning under Milima Academy, what other interesting roles would you want to pick up, not just in cybersecurity, but as it trickles down?
A mic check.
Yes, we can.
Can you hear
yes,
me?
we can. Please proceed.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that opportunity. My name is Femias Oishala. I'm in Uganda, of course. So I'm a telecom engineer by profession from a university in Algeria, North Africa. But of course, when I got out of university, now I was wondering, what do I do? Looking for jobs here and there and everything. Well, that didn't go so well, but I'm working with a fintech company called Servicecorps, and we develop solutions for banks and financial services. So I'm an administrator there, and it's through that I realized there is so much insecurity with data and information, and the fact that everything is interconnected on the internet. And I ran into Milima Cyber Academy, where I enrolled this year in January. Sadly, we got the situation of COVID, but my journey with cybersecurity had taken off a good start. I could say it has taken off a good start at Milima Cyber Academy. I was able to understand in details well, I had done cybersecurity fundamentals before in an academy when I was still in university, but it wasn't as practical or hands-on as it was with Milima. So we're able to be engaged, to keep engaged with our professors. The fact that we had 3 days weekly, it was intensive, and of course, personal work is key as well. So my experience as I venture into this journey is that it never stops. It never stops. I have not reached a moment where I'm like, okay, now I have got it all. I can go and just relax and say I'm a accomplished cyber. Then those are the challenges. And the other thing maybe I've ventured into, I have learned some programming because I realized it was necessary. So I've spent the whole of this COVID period learning how to code, how to read code, how to understand the security of probably a system and how it can be affected. So yeah, I have understood the differences in the two worlds of development, web design and development, and security. So I think I have been putting my time to understand the field well enough. So that has been my journey so far, and it is still ongoing. I'm excited to find someone to mentor me and to continue to be in touch with people who will assist me to grow in this field. What I can say is that, like, I think like our just like Samari has been saying, it is really personal. It's a personal journey, and honestly, I only if they're going to be committed to it. So yeah, I think those were the questions that you have asked me. I hope I've answered them.
Yes, you have, famous, and it's really such a good thing to see. You coming from a point where you're coming in as an administrator, and now there's a keen interest to want to learn about technology and furthermore even IT
Yeah.
information security. So that's quite fascinating. And I mean, it's also such an empowering thing to get and to get an opportunity to listen to um, a real life experience. So kudos to you, and hopefully you get to learn and you get to achieve all that you want to. Ruth,
Thank you.
yeah. So Ruth, you've really talked about digital security and wanting to start off something of your own that ideally not just touches on digital security, but also in the aspect of cybersecurity. And as we've seen, there's been a lot of, or rather, there's been a high interest rate in terms of digital technology that has evolved and disrupted traditional business models. So going back to the kind of platform that you've created, Ruth, perhaps you can tell us a bit more about your platform. Also, seeing that you're a journalist, I don't know how you intend to Ruth? Sorry, Ruth. Now you can talk to us.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Ruth. Please proceed.
Okay, yes. So I'm called Ruth Atim. I'm from Uganda. I'm a journalist, and then also a digital safety or security trainer. I'm also a graduate of IT at Gulu University, based in Kampala. So so what I do basically, I empower journalists and other human rights defenders with skills on digital safety, because and most of my activities are based in northern Uganda, and we had experienced very many scenarios where journalists were trolled, journalists the work that they do were being hacked into, and most of them didn't know really how to safeguard against such online from online insecurity. Yeah, so with my skills as an IT person, I never practiced IT, but I went through a fellowship that empowered us women to it's called a safe sister fellowship from an organization in Uganda here called Different Defenders. So they empowered us with skills as women in the public sector to empower other women to be like us, to be like sort of ambassadors of and spread the gospel of cybersecurity. Yeah, so it's after that that fellowship that I decided to start up an organization, a community-based organization that empowers and supports women who are out there doing their work, human rights defenders, journalists, people who are really out there in the eyes of the public, whose work or lives can be compromised online. So even parliamentarians, I once spoke to one whose account had been hacked into, but I realized it was so open, it didn't have any layer of security. Yes, so I helped her set it up, and now her work was secure. Yeah, so it was based on that I decided to start up this initiative and support these women to also enjoy an online space, an online safe space. Yeah, basically that.
That's a very interesting initiative. Sorry, to get into, and just to I'm really tempted to get into cyber risk, because this is also a very interesting topic in which ideally is usually covered by this topic when we talk about cyber security, especially now that we've brought out the element of digital security and technology in itself. We've also seen that a lot of organizations are experiencing a lot of data breaches and privacy. So even as you engage your fellow journalists and you engage this particular group of people, how would you say has been the kind of experience and the kind of exposure that you have had as you're pushing towards growing your platform?
Yeah, so it has helped me to interface with people from different and diverse backgrounds, really. And when you interface with such people, you professionally, you get to grow. Sometimes I get faced with situations that I can't really solve, and that prompts me to research, to read, and and that's a good way to it's a good personal growth for me as growth, and it has also helped me to learn new skills and to be able to serve the people that I serve properly. Yeah.
Great. As we also look towards winding up, um, Maurice, perhaps you could give us your parting shot with regards to Milima Academy and probably the next steps that you're looking into now that a lot of us have experienced this crisis of COVID-19. So, what would you say are the next steps of Milima Academy, and what are you looking to achieve in the next coming months?
Thank you very much, Lisa. Thank you, colleagues on this forum. Like we've had this discussion, mainly to look at, appreciate that there's a problem that needs to be dealt with. One of the focal things that we're pushing for the forthcoming courts and the rest of the quarter is we are crafting a mentorship program where we shall be continuously holding webinars and trainings of this nature, so that we're able to sort of like change the mindset of the perspective that is created for tech as not a viable path, career path for the women, and continuously push for the idea of diversity, because very many organizations and firms are at the point that they're pushing for diversity, and these opportunities can only be usually open to those who actually were equally prepared. To just dive into what plans we have besides the mentorship program, we've continuously engaged alumni, and we continuously have, besides these webinars, we have every like about half the court usually have special guests that are actually experts in the field that can actually continuously share the knowledge and insights on how the students themselves can have a connection between the classroom environment, the training environment, and then typically in the workspace. The other bit, this is also typically around promoting participation in cybersecurity space. As somebody shared earlier, as more and more women get the seat on the table in this area, we need this actually goes out to those who have seats on the table to continuously create opportunities and forums to mentor and train and guide the women to take up the opportunities, and actually slacking and actually identifying that this area is barely just a space for the men, but equally a space for the women. The other bit would be we are actually crafting an insightful mentorship program with She Leads, so that we create an avenue where we are able to interact more oftenly, to get to create the awareness. Like I said, one of the key things behind this gap is awareness. So we're continuously putting all our efforts on creating awareness and creating a mindset change. As we prepare for the next cohort, one key thing I should say about our academy, like one of our alumni shared, that we are very focused on creating opportunities and actually changing the mindset, and appreciating that the skilling is very important in thriving in this space. Practicality is also one of the driving factors. Like I shared also equally earlier, that we usually ask, what are your expectations? So we want to zero down on appreciating what our expectations are of our colleagues in our space, the men and the women. How can we actually drive and create a space that actually is gender sensitive? So as Milima, our focus is going to continuously be pushing for more opportunities for women on our different training programs, and then equally also presenting as viable as possible payment plans for the women to be a part of this program. So my parting remarks would be mainly to encourage the women in the cyber security and even equally in the tech space that you ought to be fearless. I mean, if you don't stand out and fight for yourself, no one else understands what you literally go through in the tech space than yourselves. So it's usually more vocal and worthwhile. Like we have very interesting professionals like Samari identifying and appreciating there is a problem, and also being able to share and create opportunities and discussions that can actually equally drive the women. The other thing also push out for is we should always encourage ourselves to be part of initiatives or their events, their webinars, their seminars. For example, we have your beverages usually holds seminars and webinars every Friday. Like Lisa, this equally goes out to you. We shall be able to equally share it with our network, continuously share your webinars and training programs in this space with our audience, so we create an opportunity for as much learning as possible. But like I said, most importantly, we're pushing for diversity in the space. It would be so unfair to create a platform where we are pushing for skilling and development of young professionals and we're sidelining the women. Thank you very much. And one other bit is I see Chagara in on the forum. He's my director. It would be very insightful if he shared a few insights on Milima Security. Through you, Madam Moderator.
So perhaps Emmanuel, you'd want to say a thing or two about Milima so that we ensure that we've really captured all that Milima has to offer, not just in terms of Milima Academy, but also as Milima Security. Perhaps you have a thing or two that you'd want to share. Emmanuel?
Hello?
Please proceed, Emmanuel.
Hey. So sorry, I was muted. And also I want to apologize. I joined quite late. I had an abrupt meeting just a few minutes to 3 p.m. So I couldn't be here the entire time. But I'm happy to hear all the engagements that have been ongoing. As Milima Cyber Academy, it's a privilege for us to push a special focus on women participation. But one thing that already we have seen a very interesting number of the ladies be a part of these programs. In our current cohort, which we're running, 50% of the class are ladies. There are classes that we have had that have more percentage of ladies than the men, but still that doesn't stop us from giving a special attention to encourage women participation, because out in the market, it is the other way around. It's a very wide gender gap. So I'm very happy to have this conversation go on today. Thank you, Samari. Thank you, Lisa, for sparing time, and Maurice for putting this together. One thing I could just add is we are currently running an enrollment for a web application security program. If someone is interested in joining this program, you can reach out to us. I don't know if Maurice has mentioned, we have a special discount we are giving to alumni who have been a part of us from the previous programs, but we are also working on a special program discount for the ladies, because we want to see more women participating in these programs. So yes, that one we shall communicate to you. Milima Security, on the other hand, if no one has spoken about it, is the parent organization of Milima Cyber Academy, and it's a cybersecurity firm. We are focused on security audits, penetration tests, and security awareness trainings. We work closely with various organizations, banking sector, and various government entities to build their resilience around cybersecurity. So that is basically our work. We always look out within our student networks to build our professional teams within Milima Security. So that's one of the advantages of work of studying from the academy side. There's the likelihood of you being retained or even introduced into the market through mentorship programs is very high. So it's something that we are focusing on very much. Otherwise, thank you, and yeah, I hope you have all had a very good deliberation.
Thank you, Emmanuel. I mean, this is this is a challenge to us Yale Bridges. You know, being a partner of Milima Security, there's a lot of mentorship. There's a lot of good offerings that you give as Milima Academy. So this is quite a challenge for us, even as we, you know, there's a different entity when we talk about cyber defense simulation training, which we offer to organizations. We've really not subjected it to wanting to see women mentorship in this particular space. So this is a challenge that I think I should be able to mention to my colleagues as well and see how we can take that up. But it's also such an interesting thing to say that, you know, Yale Bridges being in partnership with Milima Security has also given us an opportunity to grow in terms of reach, trying to engage people in Uganda. There's a lot of interest in terms of information security. There's a lot of knowledge that needs to be shared out, especially expert knowledge. Very interesting conversations that have particularly taken place in this forum. So good participation, good collaboration from the two companies. Hopefully, we get to do this more often. Ruth, perhaps you can also give us your parting shot just before we close this.
Um, okay, so thank you so much, Millie. It's Milima Cyber Academy for organizing this talk. It has really been so informative. It's an eye opener for all of us to see how we can absorb many women into the cyber security environment. And I got to know about this talk from Samari Kakibale. Thank you so much for putting it out there, and we got to know it. So it's I think it's going to be upon us, the people, to see how we can recruit or have many women to join this space. You know, like Samari said, very many women sort of intentionally um, don't want to join the cyber security or the IT sector, you know, because of reasons that we cannot really dive into right now. But so let's try hard to encourage women. I mean, this is a sector that anyone, whether you're a man or a woman, you can join. You know, let's do that. So yeah, so that we can, you know, so we can like network and get to know people amongst ourselves. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ruth, for that. Maurice, I don't know whether you intend to have another session of the same probably next week. So if you have anything that is coming up, please feel free to share with the participants and we can close on the webinar. Maurice?
Hello.
Yes, Maurice.
Okay. I think I've literally shared enough, and I've been equally delighted that Shagara put the icing on the cake. But my parting shot would be our focus is going to continuously be driven towards to demystifying this gender gap in the cybersecurity space. As much as the difference has been seen at the academy, but we're worried of what the figures hold outside the training center. So our focus is going to continuously be on that. And we are holding, we have a special webinar, I think, that is coming up. But as we get down to the thorough details of the webinar, we shall equally share with our network. We shall be able to engage you as participants. And as I close off, I want to thank you all for your time. It's a very critical time, especially for us here in Uganda. I know many of you are dashing home to beat the lockdown, but you've equally committed yourself to be here. So I'm delighted and thankful. Thank you, Lisa, and I thank you, the panelists. Thank you, Lisa, for collaborating this, and we look forward to tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Morris. Lastly, just as we close, Samari, please share with us your last parting shot.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you, everybody, for the contributions. Thank you for attending in great numbers. We have been honored to have you, and we hope that this has not left you the same. There is hope. One thing I want to assure everybody here is that a career in cybersecurity is assured. If you make the decision to invest in it and give it time, you will never be out of employment. And should you decide to leave employment, you can still make it out there. So don't feel like you're going to be frustrated like some other careers where they're so circulated that they don't have to. Anyhow, so keep pushing it. In fact, I read that IBM said that by 2021, there will be a gap of 3.5 million open positions in cybersecurity field. So you can imagine it's really green for us. Let's take this up. Let's spread the gospel. Let's equip ourselves. There's quite a lot from cybersecurity analysts to revenue assurance, to forensics and investigations, to audit and assurance, penetration testing, risk and compliance. I mean, mention it. There's quite so much for us there. With the way businesses are going, cryptocurrencies, the use of various channels like visas, online banking, mobile banking, agent banking. It's really, the sky is no longer the limit for us, guys. We must shine. Don't forget to believe in yourself and trust God that made you start this journey. Definitely, He wants you to complete it well. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Milima, for the opportunity. Thank you. Over to you, Lisa.
All right. So as we close this, thank you to all our participants. For those who registered and took time to listen in into the conversation, we thank you. For all that also were asking questions through the chat section, thank you for making this as interactive as possible. So thank you, and we look forward to having you in the next webinar that we shall plan. Goodbye and God bless.
It's unfortunate that